Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Hello, 2025 is here.
It's a new year, but not a new me, because I'm the same Pastor.
Amen.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, it's the same us. We here.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, y'all.
Welcome to our cute table talks, where we keep it real,
where we keep it relevant,
and where we keep it raw. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Marcia Burton-Tiggs, and next to me I
am Pastor Kimberly, man.
Yes, coming in with all the energy.
Yes.
In 2025, and we're so excited. We promised y'all new guests, and we are delivering on the first episode of the year.
Yes.
Come on, Jesus.
Welcome.
Let's let our guests. Let's start on my side. Tell the people who you are.
I'm Cameron Evans. I'm a senior here at Oakwood University, political science major.
All right.
Okay.
Hi, guys. I'm Justin Williams-Richards, and I'm a senior here at Oakwood. I'm a social work major.
All right, nice.
Yes.
So we got some seniors in the building.
Yes.
Ladies that get ready to graduate.
Mercy,
they ready.
not the advertisement. Yes, okay.
Yes. We're super excited, and we're glad to be back with you all. So let's get into our topics. Let's talk about what's good, church.
What's good, church?
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Yes, welcome to our first segment, What's Good, Church?
What's good, church?
For those of you all who are just joining us in 2025, What's Good, Church is our segment where we talk about all things church. All right, these are some of the things that aren't necessarily discussed in the pulpit, but are relevant to all of us who prescribe or subscribe to the Christian faith. And so today we have a very interesting topic.
Absolutely.
And that is the topic of New Year's resolutions. Yes. So let's talk about it. What do you all think about New Year's resolutions? You know, is this Christian? Should we have them? Should we not?
Are they necessary?
Yeah. Are they necessary? You know, is this just some help, feel good, Dr. Phil-esque type stuff? What?
Dr.
Phil-esque. What do y'all think about it? Okay.
Same time.
No, Jesse, you can go first.
I think really it depends on the person. I feel like it can be good to acknowledge what a new year and what a fresh start can bring and acknowledging kind of the power that it can bring. But ultimately, I think it's up to us to be making those active changes like day in and day out of our lives. So the new year can kind of be like a spur, like to like kind of be a push off point, but ultimately like we should be doing these things every day or trying to apply these like resolutions every day in our lives.
Okay.
I agree in a similar aspect. I feel like New Year's resolution is a good way to be able to start out the year. You can set yourself out, be like, okay, I want to have these accomplishments, these achievements, these goals for this year. But in reality, as Justin just said, you have to have a mindset where you can employ that at any time. You can't just sit here in life and be like, okay, at some point the next day or maybe 2 months from now, I can get something done and start my life out how I want to go. Next day needs to be that decision.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think New Year's resolutions are tough because I think they're important. Like, there is something about having a new start. Like, even in the Bible, it talks about, behold, I am a new creature. Behold, I am doing a new thing. So, like, even God understands the concept of us needing new. But I think New Year's resolutions can be harmful when we expect midnight to be a magic wand. Like, 3, 2, 1... Woo! Now I'm magically, not a thief. Now I'm magically not, a chronic overeater. Now I'm magically gonna lose 25 pounds. And I think that's where the danger of New Year's resolutions comes in, is when you expect the new year to be the thing that makes a new you. When it's really, it has to be you, your decisions, your thoughts, your drive, your desire, or putting tools in place if you know you don't have the goals or the desire to get those things done. What do you think?
I think it's just like all of you all said, I think it's the vantage point which you come from and like what is your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing? Some people have New Year's resolutions to organize their year, to make some true attainable goals and objectives that they have, and it gives them that fresh start. So, I mean, I don't think anything is wrong with it. I do agree with the whole magic thing. I think New Year's resolutions don't work when you are intentional about them.
Yes.
So you can't just write something down and say, I want to do it, and then think it's going to happen. No, you got to write it down, and then you also need to be coming up with the action plans. And they do align with the Bible, because the Bible tells us to write the vision and make it plain. So it's good to write down your vision for the year and how you want to resolve in coming into a new year. But at the same time, I don't think that a lot of people actually are intentional with it. I think they just do it just to do it, and that piece of paper just stays there, and there is no thought or even a plan put in place, action plan for this to come true. So what do you all think? What do you all think about New Year's resolution? Are they necessary? Do you feel like everyone should do it? Are they not necessary? Is it something that you can personally choose or not? Is it Christian? Is it not Christian? What are your thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, I think that like making New Year's resolutions Christian or not Christian, I think can kind of, I don't know, I think it takes away from, again, life and death are in the power of the tongue. And so like, if you believe like that, man, this is going to be just like last year, this is just going to be the same old thing, then it will be. So I think there's a certain power, like you said, of writing the vision and making a plan. What I think we should be concerned about is when your New Year's resolution is the same New Year's resolution every single year. That means that this is a wish your heart makes. Like this is like Disney World. This is not, it is like, you know, making a wish on a birthday cake. And I think when we think of resolutions as wishes, that's when I think it becomes something that is maybe, I don't know, maybe unchristlike. I don't know if that's the right word, but I think when we look at it as attainable goals, I think that's where New Year's resolutions can be impactful. And I think I think they're also called resolutions for a reason. They take resolve. They take some sort of dedication and some sort of intentionality. And I would think it would be better not to make New Year's resolutions, but I don't know, maybe a New Year plan. You see what I'm saying? Like, because a resolution is like, I'm going to lose 25 pounds. Well, yeah, but I've been saying that since my daughter was born, like she's 4. So you know what I'm saying? Like it has to be something more than that. So this year I will get an accountability partner to help me to, you know, lose some of the baby weight. Like those are for me, like it can't just be a statement. That ain't gonna happen. It needs to be a action based backed plan.
Yes.
So
All right. So yeah, let us know what you think. And have this topic of discussion to see, you know, what do you all feel about New Year's resolutions? Are they necessary? And while you're doing that, we're going to get ready to talk about the real world.
The real world.
Which came in January 1, depressing.
Mercy.
So stay
Oh
tuned.
my goodness.
Stay tuned.
We got a good topic for you coming up.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Welcome back, everybody. So we are now here with our second segment called The Real World. And this is a segment where we talk about what's happening in the real world. And so we want to talk now about the wildfires that have been happening in Los Angeles. And so first and foremost, we want to offer our sincere condolences to those who have lost property, lost pets, lost people, lost their whole lives literally overnight in the blink of an eye. Some people had a chance to grab important things, and some people were literally only able to leave with the clothes on their backs. And the area in which the wildfires were at, it was a lot of generational Black wealth that was there. People who had bought homes in the area due to redlining, they weren't able to buy homes right there in downtown Los Angeles. They were pushed out further. And so those homes were people's homes for 50, 60, 70 years, and they lost those homes. So we want to first extend our sincere condolences. We want to talk about those wildfires. Like, how would you all feel if literally you were told you got to leave your house now? Would you leave? Would you not leave? Like, I don't know. Just what do you guys think about that?
Well, for me, it'd be hard to accept it and adjust because number one, that's devastating in a natural instinct. So I'd be devastated. I'd be sad. I'd be very crippled in that sense. But I would be able to have to definitely move away and try and be able to start anew because that's the only other option at that point. You can't go back to a house that's no longer there, that has too much damage. All your memories and stuff are necessarily gone from that house if you weren't able to take them out before. You either had to evacuate or you didn't have the time to do those things. So with that being said, I feel like the only option, the only motivation, the only mindset to have is let me get a new start. Let me create new memories. Let me move on. Yes, the devastation has hurt me. Yes, the devastation has hurt thousands and millions of other people. But let's move on. Let's adjust.
I hear you. What about you?
Something that I really feel connected to it personally because first of all, I had family members that had to evacuate from the fire that's currently staying with my grandmother. And actually, when I was a child, my grandmother's house burned down in California, and she had to move to where she's currently staying. So I know, like, personally how hard it could be for these families and how uprooting it could feel. Yes. But I just would like to say, if any of them are listening, that you can recreate those memories. You create new memories in new places. And I feel like what's really important is to just have that camaraderie with your family and be together with them. And that's what's really most important, like having that support system. And that's really what I feel like I've been focused on, like thinking about the support system of these people, because I've seen how they've canceled a lot of these insurance policies. Like some people don't know how they're going to get like new homes and stuff. So just making sure that these people have family and friends that are able to like come together and we have a community. So
yeah, and I think it's so important that those who've been through something like this before make not just resources available, but making knowledge available.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you have people who are coming and knocking on their door like, hey, so your house burnt down, we'll buy it from you for, $500,000 so you can go buy a new home and have a new start. Not realizing that house was worth $2.5 million.
Very much so, yes.
But because they're like, it's going to take another 5 to 10 years, your insurance is, and they sell our people these ideas and these discouraging things to make them give up what is, what they have. And so, sharing our knowledge, I think, is so important on being able to rebuild. Because if you don't know,
then you'll be stuck.
You're going to be stuck, or you're going to think, well, I have to move, or I have to sell my house, or I have to go down this road. So I think knowledge is super, super duper important. My question is, if you had to leave in a moment and you could only take a few things, what would you take?
That's a good question.
We're talking physical, like as long as my family and my
your
friends is
fine,
all good.
but you're like, hey, we got to evacuate. You can go grab one thing. What is the thing that you want to make sure you take with you?
Realistically, like probably my phone, practically. As long as I have my phone and a jacket and my wallet, probably.
Yeah.
Phone, jacket, wallet. And then that's
okay.
Those are the essentials.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
For me, assuming I have all those things on me, if I could make a choice, I'd say like maybe a photo album, a picture book that I had of like family members, me when I was a kid and a baby, and stuff like that. So I could make sure I can grab onto the memories I may have made there, even though I have them in my head, still have physical, tangible evidence of it.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. A lot of people, I think the main thing, you can buy clothes, you can buy furniture, you can buy expensive things. Obviously, you can't buy keepsakes, jewelry that was passed down, stuff like that. But one of the things that you can't get back are memories, and I would say like photos, videos that are recorded, and you have copies of them. Obviously, your electronics. So if you have laptop, you definitely want to get that.
Yeah, electronics.
But definitely the main thing is like photos. Take as many photos as you can, many videos you can, and as many things that are connected to you as possible. And yeah, some people are able to take that, and then some people have to make a quick decision. They just walk out with what they have, and they don't even grab a wallet or even a cell phone.
Mercy, yeah, because I even saw some of the pictures. I mean, people are looking at the fire in their backyard, and they're like, I think we need to evacuate. And I saw, some harsh comments like, they told you to evacuate. Why didn't you leave? But I also think that, like, we're human, and we're like, we'll be okay. For the same people who ride out hurricanes, like, we'll be okay. And then a hurricane comes and you ride it out and you're like, hey, we were okay. But then there's that one hurricane that comes that tears everything apart. And so it's kind of hard to know. And then sometimes you can't afford to leave, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't afford to evacuate. If I leave, where am I gonna stay? I don't have money for a hotel. So, I just have seen so much, I think, criticism on how we navigate natural disasters. And I think we just have to offer people grace.
Yes.
Yeah, but even in this, even though it's a tragedy, there are still like lessons that can be learned from this taking place. Not just the fires, but as you mentioned, the hurricanes and all of the natural weather. What I love about God is He always gives us warnings, and He always tells us to be ready. We take for granted, especially some of us that live in regions that aren't weather impacted as much. But usually when you live in certain places, they always tell you this is a possibility. But do we really act in it? Same thing with Jesus is coming soon. Get ready, be ready. Jesus is coming soon. Do we actually think about it? Because every time you think that He's coming, it doesn't happen. So do you get comfortable in the event that it doesn't happen? Now, don't get me wrong. I agree 100% with what you're saying. But I do think, though, that we that aren't involved in this can take it and learn from it as well. Absolutely. But let's get a little controversial, because this is nice and this is so heartfelt, warm. I love it. Condolences. We really, really, hearts go out, especially for those who are sitting here who have family. I was fortunate my friends and their families left a few years ago, so they didn't get impacted. But I do know people who were from the area. But let's get out of Pasadena, Altadena. Let's go into LA. Let's go Malibu. Let's go where celebrities are. There's this flip side that are like,
y'all deserve this.
So what? We don't care if your house burned down. I mean, what do y'all feel about that? Like the cynicism of y'all are wealthy, y'all are rich. We don't care. This is the rich area. We don't care that this happened to you all, especially the celebrities.
Did y'all see the Golden Globe? They were saying that the reason why the fire happened is because the Golden Globes was the night before, and during one of the segments, they did like a poll of like who was the most important or who would get most votes, and they had all these different people, and God got 0, and they were like, "We're not surprised in this godless town of LA where we don't need God at all." Wow. And then the next day, fire erupts and pretty much almost burns down the Hollywood sign. So it's like people were saying the reason why this happened is because they were disrespectful towards God or dishonoring towards God. So do you think God causes wildfires? I mean, like,
no.
Or allows it to happen?
And then what's your take on the celebrity
aspect of it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think, first of all, it is very sad for celebrities, of course, to lose their home. I will just say that. It is sad. But a reality of it is they will have an easier time to rebuild than some of these other people. That's just the hard truth of it. But to move on to the God side of it, I think it can get very dangerous till we start putting natural disasters on on God. I feel like that can get very dicey, and especially concerning on who's it happening to and whatnot. Like, I don't perceive a God like that, and I feel like that often typically happens when natural disasters happen in America, because when stuff like this happens on even grander schemes in other countries, we're not really looking at, well, do they deserve this? Like, I feel like there's a different perspective than where it's like coming out of America. And Americans look at it, and it's like it's always like a deeper like type of meaning. When sometimes these things just happen.
Yeah. Going to that cynicism with the celebrities thing. Personally, I feel as if, to agree on Justin's point, it is sad that these things happen to people. Everyone's a human being at the end of the day. So it's a devastating aspect to be able to look at and see that perspective of people's lives being destroyed. But they have an easier infrastructure to be able to rebuild from what they've lost. Whereas we have millions and thousands of people who every single day have issues being able to live, being able to have good survival amenities and stuff like that. They don't have roofs over their head. They have to live on the street. These are real issues that often we tend to look away from and then realize, oh my God, Ashton Kutcher's house just got burned down. Why are we focusing on that when there's people on the street that we just saw and passed that don't have a house to even live in? So it's stuff that we have to start looking at that and look at the real world aspect of what impacts who and how it impacts other people.
Well, what about the rumors that this all was started by an arsonist? Because that's another rumor that's floating out, that an arsonist started this. And maybe it's connected to Pastor Mann's theory that maybe they were mad about what was going on in an award show. What do y'all feel about that? If it was an arsonist that actually started this?
I thought I did see one report that they arrested a suspect for that. So I kind of was already of the mind that that's probably what happened with that. I really thought, well, maybe it was like a rich thing. Like he wanted to like persecute the rich, especially with Luigi that happened, that stuff. So I was thinking maybe it's like a trend that's happening in 2025 where people are trying to get the rich, but I feel like that gets more conspiracy.
Mercy.
So I don't really,
I can go down a rabbit hole.
And what's interesting is that, again, to you all's point, and now we're seeing it is branching off to the celebrities, that it really doesn't matter who you are and what you are. It's so hard to get down to the truth of how these things happen. I mean, we go back in 2024 with the bridge when we were talking about that in Maryland, like what was the actual cause of that? Now we're talking about these fires. What was the actual cause? Outside of like a hurricane, we all can see the water, right?
Yes.
But with these other ones, it's like, what is the cause? And it's interesting because I have a coworker who actually visited their spouse's relative that lived in the area. Their house is burnt down. They were just there 2 weeks before. And they were saying how in the air, they were like, it's so dry. It's so dry. It's like drier than normal. And the person who lost their home was like, yeah, it hasn't rained in like over 6 months here. Like we've had some severe droughts and stuff like that. So it's like, it's interesting that why are we so puzzled about all of this, right? What is really happening when it comes to our knowledge of what's going on? And what is the media feeding us at the end of the day? Because honestly, none of us know the real truth.
Exactly.
Only God knows what really happened in the person or situation, or if it was nature that
has been impacted by our commercialism and our greed.
Yeah.
All these things. But, as we get ready to close out this segment, I think this is so important for, we're talking to our young adults. You never know what situation is coming. Have your birth certificate, a copy of it. Have your passport. Have a copy of your driver's license. Like, have those things in a Ziploc bag and a fireproof, waterproof safe. You can get those things from Amazon or Walmart. And if you are old enough to drive a car, you are old enough to be responsible for those things, that if you have to run, if you gotta go, grab it and go. So that's just a practical lesson. I think that all of us, because listen, we know that as the Lord gets closer and closer to coming, more of this is gonna happen. And so that's just a way that you can be prepared. So after the Sabbath is over, go ahead, call your mama, call your grandma, ask for a copy of your Social Security card and all those things, and put them somewhere safe. So we want to make sure that we're,
also too, California is glamorous, right? Everybody wants to move to Cali. Take in consideration some of the things that are happening. Can you handle water disasters better than fire, right? Take a holistic look at what's going on. The earth is crying out and being real and letting us know, hey, I'm struggling here.
I can't take much more of this.
This is not well. And deciding yourself, I thought it was for me, but maybe God, this is not for me. But be intentional about what area of the country you move to and why. Because again, nobody can be prepared for the unknown to the max.
Yeah.
But what we can do is take, as Pastor Mann has said, the necessary precautions to ensure that at least some basic things within our own power we can control, that we can do. But the most important thing we have to do is we have to pray, we have to seek God, and we have to seek his wisdom now, even in where you live in America.
Absolutely. Well, listen, let us know in the comments how you feel about the fires that are happening. Let us know in the chat if you have someone who's been affected. We definitely want to pray for you. But also we want you to be prepared. We want to empower you to make sure that you and that we are all, ready should we have to make one of those life or death decisions. So we're going to move on to our next segment. Don't go anywhere.
Yes, we're going to get all in our feelings.
We're going to get, when I say all the way, I mean all the way in our feelings.
Get ready. This is a good one.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Hello, we are back and we are ready to get all the way deep in our feelings.
In our feelings.
This next one is real. So, Pastor Mann and I are married. Obviously, these two young men
are single.
Yes.
You're not married?
Yeah, you're not married.
Because if you're not married, you're single. So,
yes,
okay.
amen. So this is, whoo, man, this is a hot topic. If you live in America, this is a hot topic. If
or even anywhere,
if you are of a certain ethnicity, this is even a hotter topic, right? What or gender, I should say. This is definitely a hotter topic. So we're talking about household chores. For those of you all who do not know, which I hope everybody knows, what household chores are. Essentially, we're talking about when you need to clean wherever you are living. So anything from washing dishes to washing clothes to cleaning the restroom, to cleaning the kitchen, to cleaning a bedroom, to vacuuming, sweeping,
doing
taking
dishes,
out trash,
dusting,
cleaning areas that are with pets or with children,
folding laundry,
picking up toys, whatever the case may be. These are things that all involve where you live and keeping it decent, right? So the question is this: should women be responsible for household chores, or should men help out? What do you all think about this? Because history, tradition, culture, which I don't know where any of this came from, probably from the fact that women weren't even regarded as human beings
or allowed to work
not too many years ago,
or vote,
have literally been subjected to all things house. There's even housewife is even a term that's used, and even if some men feel that if a woman doesn't work, then they definitely should be doing everything in the house. Also, let's add cooking on, by the way, as well. So traditionally,
and raising the kids.
Yes, traditionally it's seen that women are supposed to cook, they're supposed to clean, they're supposed to keep the house up and tidy. So what do you all feel about that? Is that true? Do women have to do everything? Does it matter whether the woman works or not? If they don't work and they're just at home, do they still have to do everything? Should guys help? 50-50? What do y'all say? I just put a lot of options out there.
I felt bad kind of because
it's okay, don't
in
feel bad.
2025, it's like the fact that we still ask these questions is ridiculous to me.
Yes.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I grew up with it was being brothers and then my mom and my stepfather, of course. So we were doing all the cooking and the cleaning. Like my dad was cooking and cleaning. We, the kids, were cooking and cleaning and doing the laundry and doing all that. So I don't know. Maybe it's because my perspective because of how I grew up.
Yeah.
But it's I would never I mean, I cook and clean, so
Yeah.
and do all that. So it's not even like a question. Like it's a partnership. It's 50-50. So I mean, but respectfully, I feel like it should be whatever works for people.
Okay.
Because some men and women prefer that lifestyle, and if they can both vibe with that and find their peace with that, then I don't want to like condemn that if they find that connection like that. But me personally, like I feel like it's whatever works for you two, like me and my partner. So whatever we decide together is how we're gonna like operate. But I feel like that should be natural thinking. Like, isn't that how relationships are supposed to work?
Yeah, but like, do you think are there certain chores that only like that are just for women?
No.
But are there certain chores just for men?
No.
So like, your wife should be taking out the trash.
I mean, she doesn't have to. I'll do that. But it's like, but I'm saying, it's not a gender specific thing. It's like, it's a conversation to have. Like, I'm gonna do these things, or what are you comfortable with doing? What am I comfortable with doing? We come together, we compromise. Like, I feel like it could be really,
Okay. What you think?
Taking from like an approach of looking from the top down, I feel like the patriarchy has severely cooked our social cues.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
How we look at what certain roles,
wow.
certain gender roles, certain person should do. So personally, I feel as if, number one, everything's supposed to be equally yoked. And equally yoked doesn't mean, okay, everything's 50-50. Sometimes it can be 80-20. Sometimes it can be 40-60. But we're all picking up for each other. It's a relationship that we're having. So the relationship dynamic should be, I do everything I can to help us sustain, survive, and be efficient. If that means I'm cooking, and I might be the better cook. If I can cook and I can make great meals, that'll be what I do. That doesn't mean I'm not looking at you to do that if that's not something you want to do, or that's something that I never asked you to do. Because at the end of the day, when you get into a relationship, at least in my point of view, there's certain things people bring to the table, but you didn't meet and stay with that person because of things they bring to the table. You stay and were with that person because of who they are.
We hope.
We hope.
But you do get with people because of what they bring to the table. Like, I think it would be a fallacy to be like, I got with you because of who you are. Like,
No. Most people actually don't get with people for who they are. And then when they find out who they are, then they're ready to divorce them.
That's
you
the
didn't
issue.
take out the time to learn their personality and their
That is a big
character.
issue.
Yeah,
That's very
because so
true.
here's the thing. Like, if I'm dating and I'm like, yo, so we're in this relationship, we're talking about getting married, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to cook. I don't like to cook. I will not be cooking. And then you are like, I don't cook. I don't like to cook. I actually don't even know how to cook. Now we're in a situation where we gotta either decide
Hello
that
Fresh.
this is not gonna work. We're gonna do Hello Fresh. We're gonna put in the budget that we doing DoorDash and Grubhub. Like you have to talk these things out, which is what I love that you said, but the reality is, y'all, listen, let me tell y'all a real life story. When me and my husband were first dating, we were like, yeah, okay, so I'll do the dishes and you do the laundry, right? And so we kind of talked that out. I don't mind doing dishes. I'm fine with dishes. That sounded real good until we had a family of 5. And now I'm doing dishes and bottles and plates. And like every time I get a dish out the sink, a new dish appears. And I will clean out the dish, the sink. And like literally 10 minutes later, why are there so many dishes in the sink? Like I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I'm like, yeah. Okay, so remember when I said that I wanted to do the dishes? I don't actually want to do the dishes anymore. You know what I mean? And so our compromise was, you gonna get a dishwasher. Get me a dishwasher. And every place we ever live better have a dishwasher. You know what I mean? And so, but like those roles, like if I have to, I'm gonna take out the trash. But my husband takes out the trash because it's a lot of trash. It's heavy. I don't want to lift it.
Yeah, understandable.
And I have a terrible, every time I try to take out the trash and like throw it in there, like the bag rips or like
pieces are out
or like I missed the trash can and it's everywhere. I'm like, you know what? This is not for me. Yeah. But I think the idea of being a house husband is something that we don't talk about enough. Like, could you be a house husband?
It's so funny. I actually just literally like the other day had this conversation with my husband. I was actually joking with him because the reality is, especially when you have careers and stuff, depending on your careers could have highs and lows. True. So it could be a season where one person doesn't really, let's say you're an artist, any type of artist, and it could be a season where it's low and you don't have any gigs, you don't have anything going for you, and so you're just at home. And then your other partner, let's say that they're a principal at a school. School is
Always
pretty
like that.
much
Yeah.
all year round.
Yeah.
So they're always going to have to go to work. So when it's low season, you know, and you're the husband, are you like a house husband? Because now you got time on your hands. So you could cook, you could clean, or is it that still that understood that there's like the shared responsibilities and you still operate in how you always, even when you have gigs?
Well, personally, I feel as if in a relationship, it's very key to pick up where your partner might leave off, depending on what the circumstances and situations are. So if per your scenario, if I was in that same predicament, yeah, I'd be a house husband. If that needs to be called out and needs to be called from me in the moment, that's something I'm going to step up to the plate and be able to bat at.
What is a house husband? Let's see what y'all think a house husband is, and then we'll say what we think a house husband
What's
is.
a house husband?
I suppose, and to my understanding, would be a man who's at home, of course, majority of the time. He's cooking, he's cleaning, doing the laundry, taking care of the kids, like the household chores, like we were talking about, household duties. To basically take care of the household duties until, you know, the wife gets home, dinner's ready when she gets home.
Wait, okay, so so let me
Dinner
ask
ready when
you.
she
No.
arrives.
So I love what you're saying.
Dinner and a glass of wine.
So let me say this. The flip side, then, if the man goes out and he's working, should dinner be ready when he gets home? Should
I'm
the
not really
kids
tripping
be
off that.
well taken care of? The house be nice and neat when she comes home?
It depends what the relationship dynamic is, number one, because that goes to what Justin was saying earlier. Each relationship is going to have a different dynamic, a different set of rules, a different set of expectations that come with it. But I'd say for me personally, I don't need to come home and have dinner cooked for me. My happiness doesn't rest on people's actions for me. My happiness rests in my own self-importance, own self-consciousness. So with that being said, I wouldn't have to come home and expect certain things. Of course, I would love those things. Gestures are always accepted, nice, and appreciated. But that's not going to be a deal breaker or something that's going to make me realize, we have problems in our marriage. I'm not rocking with how this is going.
Ladies, rewind and take notice of these two men's names. They are not the norm, amen. In my opinion, I like what y'all are saying. I think it's true. But let's just be real. Society influences how we view each other, what we feel like each other should do. Men are known to be the providers.
Yeah.
You should have a job. So, you know, what about that man who doesn't have a job right now? Are they not a man anymore? You know, what happens in those scenarios when the woman is the one who's going to work and making more money, especially in the black community, because black females are the smartest minority in the world.
Yes.
And we make substantially more money
Than black
than
males.
black men currently. So how does that feel? You know, is the woman, and I did not like the assumption of if you're a career woman, then you don't do anything but work. So somebody I know actually had that assumption, and they were just like, we were having potluck, and you know when people don't think you can cook because they always give you stuff that you can just buy, and I'm like, so you know, like I cook, right? And then they were like, I didn't know you cooked. I assumed that you didn't cook, and I was like, what?
That's
That
crazy.
And they were like, because your career, and they weren't saying it in a wrong way, but and I appreciated them saying that because they were literally thinking that. And I'm like, no, I go to work. Yes, I'm a professor. I'm in the legal profession, but I come home, I cook my husband food. I will clean if I need to. I don't mind doing household chores. Like, no, not at all. And shout out that my husband actually can cook, because that's another thing. Your strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
Some men cannot even
Yes.
boil water.
Yes.
And then other ones can come out here and make a gourmet meal. And then some are basic, and then some are better. But it's like the assumptions are crazy, but they're real.
And you know, I think that's a lot of where, for my personal belief, is the egalitarian approach, where you take your strengths and your weaknesses and you do those things. So like, if you're a spender and you know you're gonna spend that check, you don't need to be in charge of the budget or the finances, right? But if listen, my husband can fold some laundry. He used to be a Marine. He know how to roll that stuff,
Real
put
tight.
it away,
Neat.
real tight, real neat.
Corners,
so he does
everything.
the laundry. He's so good at it. What would take me 3 to 5 business days, he gets done in the afternoon.
3 to 5.
That was funny.
Yes,
That
was real.
This is a
absolutely.
package shipping.
Absolutely.
It's like we gonna skip all of that.
But he gets it done like that. Like he's good at it. but like bedtime, like I read the books and I do the bath and I get the kids' clothes ready. Cause that for me, it's, you know, I'm thinking about what they need. Tomorrow's gonna be cold. They need tights. They need an undershirt. I'm thinking through those things because I'm detail oriented like that. So that's just how it works for us. So I think having a conversation about your strengths and weaknesses, because you're always gonna have problems if the roles that are, or the expectations center around things that are a person's weakness.
Yes.
Because then you're going to constantly be disappointed.
Right. And then you got to let it flow. I mean, I like your perspective. At the end of the day, it's about flowing and gelling and what's meshed. When you live with somebody, you'll kind of determine what they like to do and what they don't like to do because they won't do it.
Yes.
Like, if y'all get married and y'all see the dishes in there and then the next day they still there, your wife don't like to wash dishes, right? So it got to be a conversation. If you don't too, then, hey, let's split this together.
Get a dishwasher. Let's have somebody come in and do the dishes.
And do the dishes. Like, or it might be a rhythm to where I am spoiled. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember the last time I cleaned most of the house. I don't remember the last time I did it. And it's not because I can't clean. It's literally because my husband that's his thing. Like, he doesn't like dirt. He don't like clutter. He don't like nothing. He will just do it. And you come home and you're like, oh, thank you. That's so nice. But on the flip side of it, because he does that, I'm going to make sure that his favorites are cooked because that's what he likes. Or I'm going to make sure that I'm in a position where I'm smelling good or I'm looking nice because that's what he likes, right? So I think it's like, it is not a set definition or women should do this and men should do this. I think, like you all said, I think I have the best perspectives. It's just how you flow. How does the relationship go? And here's the kicker too. You have to be ready for interruptions. Losing a job is real. Getting sick is real. Becoming disabled is real. Losing family members or friends, grief, that's real too. So you got to be able to pick up the slacks, everyone, in your relationship when life happens and these things come through.
And I think household duties aren't gender perspective. Gender shouldn't be gender specific. They should be whatever needs to be done. And we all live in this. You live in this house. I live in this house. What do we need to do so that way we have peace in our house and we feel comfortable in this space? And I think constantly having conversations is so important because, like for instance, I was cool with washing dishes every night, and then we had five people in our family. Got 3 kids. I had 2 infants and all of it at the same time. So, baby, we're gonna have to revisit this. So Monday, Wednesday, I do the dishes. Tuesday, Thursday, you do the dishes. And that way it doesn't feel like a burden. So having those constant conversations, because sometimes what you agreed on before the wedding,
might not.
2 years in, like you said, someone loses a job. Someone's navigating mental health issues. They can't get out the bed. And so you're having to make those shifts. So I think as long as, again, you see that person as a partner.
You got to be willing to grow with them.
You got to be willing to partner with them. But listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan of the soft life.
Oh, 100%.
That is my
princess
eventual,
forever and queen. I hold both titles.
Listen, passenger princess, soft life reality. Like, I'm trying to do all of those things. And I don't think that that's a problem. But I think that when you only want to have a soft life, but you don't want to participate in the other person's life, I think that's where you run into
Jesse,
problems.
I feel like in my spirit, you got something to.
What you thinking?
Got something to add.
No, I was just listening. I think I'm agreeing with all y'all are saying. Like I said, I think it's really just about partnership, like really being willing to grow with your partner. Like kind of what you're saying, you go through these different phases. Like you guys will not be like you and your husband, I'm assuming, are not the same people that you were when you first met, and you guys will continue to change for the rest of your lives. So just always choosing to love that person through all those changes throughout the rest of your lives. Like if that's your plan, to like love them for the rest of your lives.
That better be your plan.
I feel like a phrase that I keep saying in my head as we've had this conversation that should be applied to a lot of relationships is unconditional equivalence.
Ooh,
Okay.
Go
So
ahead.
you should
Break
always
that down.
you should always have an unconditional yearn and effort to be able to try and make the relationship equal. And when I say equal, pick up what the other person isn't able to pick up at the time. As you guys said, stuff changes constantly throughout people's lives. And so if we're in each other's lives, I'm going to have ups and downs. I'm going to have depressive moments. I'm going to have anxious moments. At that point, I expect you to be able to unconditionally try and pick those things up for me, and I'm supposed to do the same for you once that the roles flip.
And let's just be gracious to each other, right? Because the reality is everything we're talking is cute and it's nice, and sometimes it happens in reality, and a lot of times it doesn't. Okay, we could come to this and be like, yes, babe. And we both sitting down and looking at each other like, wait, I thought you was cooking. No.
Right.
No, it's you. No, I'm tired. Man, my head hurting. No, but my feet are hurting. Well, then what we gonna do?
Let's go eat out.
Bruh, it's called order and delivery, right? So, Uber Eats.
And I love what he was saying about how just because, things are perfect or what society says is perfect doesn't mean that like the relationship is falling apart. Like, I came home and dinner wasn't ready. Girl, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? I think just like you said, unconditional equivalence. Oh man, you had a rough day at work. Even though I know you typically cook and you've already told me you've had a rough day at work, I am anticipating meeting you where you are tired at. So don't cook. Let's go get something to eat. And that says the responsibility, because really the responsibility of the household is my responsibility to you, to love you.
Yeah, and don't be too critical, ladies and men, when they do and they're making a tip that you're like, what is this? Try to say it nice, because people feelings do get hurt. But like you said, change is the only thing that's guaranteed. Change is the only thing that's constant. And what we do right now in the relationship, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, it might look different. But the goal is that you're in it together. You're in it to win it. And you take the good with the rough and you make it work, because you will have those moments where you're like, OMG, like, why do you keep leaving the toilet seat up?
Mercy.
Remember to put it down.
Yes.
Or you might have those moments like, if I see another hair product on the counter in my space and hair everywhere, I'm going to scream. It's cool. It's all right. Scream in your head, right?
There you go.
Go
Give
out,
them a
decompress, scream. Just don't scream at your partner, right?
There you go.
So what do you all think? Because these men, we love it. Praise God for their upbringing.
I think this new generation. Isaiah, I know you're out in the corner. You nod your head. You with it?
Yeah. I was gonna say these are some very forward-thinking young men. Most young guys that I talk to, even the ones that are in my age category, that maybe 5-10 years older than y'all, don't think like this at all. Matter of fact, I have had to talk some guys off the ledge. We are not both going to work, and you're expecting me to cook every single day and clean every single day, and we both go to work. That's just not reality, right? That's not reality. And then to my princesses, look, if he goes to work and you're at home all day, there's going to be some expectations. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that he can't help ever, right? There can be some times where he could do something nice for you just because he want to do so. The reality is you all are great and I love it. But I don't know if y'all are necessarily the majority. So we want to keep this conversation going, right?
Come
we
on.
want the debate to be really had.
These conversations.
Yeah, tell us what y'all think. Hey, women should remain in their I don't even know where this came from.
Remain. No, not where they came from.
I don't know where gender roles. They should remain in the patriarchal
gender roles.
Assumed roles that are given, that we have been. I don't even know how it's been passed down. Now that I think about it, how has this been passed down? The foolery. Anyways, should they remain in that? Are we looking at, because some people do believe in 50-50. Are we looking at half? If I do the dishes and I do the bathrooms and you got to vacuum and you got to sweep and you got to take out the trash. Are we looking at that?
Culture definitely affects, because depending on where you're from, you are raised to do these things.
And then that leads to the next point. Women, are we okay with the man washing the dishes, with the man cleaning any type of area, with him cooking? Or do we feel like no, you're the man, how dare you do that? So all of these things are what we want you all to talk about. Have the debates.
You said that would confuse you?
Yeah. Have the debate. And also too, go back in the show, rewind, ladies, catch these guys' names. Yes, amen. They get ready to graduate.
Absolutely.
We're hearing some good things.
Yes, but I also, as we get ready to wrap this segment up, I want to remind you that you think you know yourself until you live with somebody else.
Oh, true.
That rhymes.
And you think you know yourself until you live with somebody else. And when I say somebody else, I'm not talking about being raised with your siblings or living in a house with your parents and your I'm talking about when you live with someone of the opposite gender,
yes,
who is now supposed to be bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. You think that you're the most giving person in the world until she keeps living her hair products and her eyelashes over on your side of the thing. Like, you think, I don't really mind. I'll cook every night until you're like, this girl can't cook at all. Like, I'm hungry. You know what I mean? Like, so
your friend wife that made this like 10-course meal and get it every day, and you're like, I can't even get you to make some noodles.
Here's the solution. We figure out how to cook together.
Exactly. I can teach you.
We learn how to cook together. I'll teach you how to cook.
Look at this.
Again, y'all already heard what I told y'all to do. Go ahead on, make that move, because even our producer over here is like, what? Nah.
But it's so important to have these conversations, even if they're uncomfortable, even if they start a little fire, because it's better to see what's coming and know what you're dealing with than to get in a situation and you're unhappy, or you're like, well, I already said this and now I got to live with this. So have the conversations, have them at your church, have them with the person that you're interested in. Yep. I think that's so important. But listen, this segment, in my feelings, I think we really did get in our feelings, and I'm there in their feelings in that chat, boy. Okay, and so we want you guys to continue to talk this out, but most importantly, we want you to like, we want you to share, we want you to subscribe, so that we can keep the party going.
Yes. We're so glad that you're with us today at our cute Table Talks, where we keep it real,
where we keep it relevant,
and where we keep it raw. All right, till next time.
Till next time,
bye.
Y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to holler at these boys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.